It's been an important time for Scottish wildlife in recent weeks. Mountain hare, for example, are one step closer to joining other iconic species in achieving full protected status. We caught up with Bob Elliot, director of charity OneKind, to find out how significant this news is.
We've been involved in animal welfare issues since 1911, and that was when we were founded by some really visionary women who got together. And about that time, there was lots of organisations formed, like the RSPB and others, from people who are very concerned about various issues. We are remarkably successful, actually, in lots of ways, and I think perhaps it's a bit easier working in Scotland than it is in the rest of the UK. We tend to find that we get a good hearing from the Scottish Parliament. Might not agree with us all the time. Still got challenges like anywhere, but at least we are able to discuss animal welfare and countryside issues and various things with them. And we cover the whole gamut, so it could be companion animals, so pet animals, puppy trade, wildlife, farmed animal welfare, including salmon, issues like that. So right through the whole spectrum, really Scotland's campaigning focused organisation. We work closely with others in partnerships, obviously.
You do a lot of work with mountain hares. Why do they need protecting in the first place?
Mountain hare is one of those iconic species that's just a miracle animal. It even goes white in the winter, It's our native hare. It's been captured by everybody. People like good selves, photographers, artists. Behind mountain hares, you've got an issue to do with driven grouse shooting. Mountain hares have been shot in huge numbers in our uplands. Estimates vary, but thousands every year being shot. It's a big subject regarding illegal and legal activities that are applied in huge areas of our countryside. So whether it's burning the heather to create new growth for grouse, it's all about increasing grouse numbers in a high enough level so they can be shot for fun. This is not about rewilding. This is about the opposite of rewilding. This is about farming our uplands for grouse. So to do that, you take out all their predators, such as stoats and weasels and foxes, and appallingly, that can be done legally. One of the reasons the shooting industry do this for is that it's just presumed that the hares transfer a virus to the grouse via a tick. Studies have shown they don't actually transfer that virus. We're in this constant cycle of arguing that these animals should be fully protected animals. The mountain hare is part of our ecosystem. It's unacceptable to be killing our wildlife without a really good rationale behind it. And if you are going to do it, it's got to be in the most humane way possible. And just recently, as part of the animal welfare bill that's just been going through the Scottish Parliament, an amendment was put in by the Greens that fully protects hares. And it got through. So, excellent. So mountain hares are now fully protected. On the face of it, great news. There might be a bit of a delay before the Act is actually brought in. There would be provision for a licence to cull hares, but I don't think that you could get a licence as a grouse moor owner to kill hares. What is your rationale? Couldn't be disease transmission. There's not woodland being damaged. So hopefully this will stop the mass culls, and anybody that needs licences can apply in the usual way.
If there is no good reason to shoot them, because they don't transmit disease, then why has this started in the first place?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's probably an economic value to landowners to have hares because they'll have shooting parties go out and shoot them, and they'll charge for that. Once you start putting a large commercial value on something, the amount of animal welfare or thought behind things tends to decrease. Partly it's traditional, whereas other landowners who are doing rewilding projects see a value in ecotourism, films, things we really enjoy. The things that happen to wild animals, you would never tolerate it if it was a pet. Foxes are dogs. It's a dog family. The things we do to traps is just appalling. We use wire snares, use spring traps on stoats and weasels. Snares have been outlawed in many, many countries, and we're one of the few that's still got them going.
Is that one of the next goals for OneKind?
It's been a huge goal for many years. We've seen better legislation in Scotland. We've been listened to. There's less abuse of snares, such as illegal snares. Do you know what? I'm not really interested. A legal snare is appalling from a welfare point of view. They fight their way out, trying to get out of this restraining device until they're killed eventually by the gamekeeper. we will see an end to them, hopefully before I retire.
What can people do to help? Because I imagine a lot of people can't go and pick up snares in the countryside, so what can we do?
Don't interfere with anything, snares, traps. What I really like is people photograph things. Everyone's got the camera on a mobile phone. Take a picture and send it through. We'd be really appreciative of that. You could be taking your access quite lawfully in Scotland. Keep their eyes open when they're in the countryside enjoying their day out. And what we will do is apply pressure whenever we can, but in the right way, based on good science and good evidence.
Hasn't there been some other news around OneKind and Chris Packham?
Yeah, very kindly said he'd become patron for us. Chris has always been a real ambassador for supporting charities who fight wildlife crimes. He's very, very prominent in his campaigning work, particularly issues here in Scotland. The other day he was kind enough to do a chat for us on Facebook Live, and that was really good of him to do that. And it really helps us with our profile. He manages to grasp some really complex issues and then present them in a way that you and I can understand, in a way that we relate to. He's a great guy. I really admire him.
And can people donate or volunteer?
Yeah. So we've got some quite active volunteers. Lockdown's been a bit of a nightmare, so we have to keep them informed of what we've been up to, but they've been brilliant online, actually. As for donating, well, people can join us. We are kept going by very generous legacies from time to time, but also the more consistent donations and memberships. We should be celebrating, shouldn't we, our natural heritage in Scotland. It brings in millions of pounds in income to our economy, and I think animal welfare with conservation issues and everything else really matters to us. And I think people they volunteer, they give money, they help and they care, and they sign things when it matters. And we just need to keep that going and boost that passion that we all have for Scotland.
Thank you for joining us. It's been brilliant.
Thanks for the opportunity. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.